We're back with Dr. Adeyemi Digbeolu, who is the economic advisor to the president. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Yeah.
How does this SIB fit in as an economic strategy?
Thank you very much. I think it fits in as an economic strategy in 4 ways. The first way is that it is a stimulus to the economy. It's very simply put, just by putting money in people's hands, you have created demand for goods that are produced. People can buy food, people can buy soap, people can buy eggs, people can buy bread. So in that, when you have a recession, you want to boost consumption so that activities, the circular flow of income happens. So in that first way, it is an economic strategy. The second and equally important is that it adds to the value chain. What do I mean? Let's take the homegrown school feeding program. With the homegrown school feeding program, what you have is production by farmers, say. First, in 2 ways. First of all, you have a program that is supposed to go around the entire country, so it has a geographical impact. Every community has a primary school. Now, in that community, you're going to buy cassava from the farmer. That cassava is going to be turned into gari. Gari is going to be transported from wherever it was processed into where it is going to be cooked. The food vendors, the caterers, the people who serve the food. So that value chain, starting from the farmer, straight through the process, through the transporter, through the caterer, to the food vendors, and before we get to the benefit, which is the children. And that takes us to the next element, which is about empowerment. You're empowering the future because you're giving our children a good start. But you're also empowering the future because the beneficiaries, for instance, of the Empower, the volunteers program, are being taught to use tablets in such a way that they become able to help themselves further down the line. Now let's take the Empower program again. A lot of the young people who have been given access to the Empower volunteer program have used it to help themselves. A lot of them were agric extension workers. A lot of them said, no, I want a farm also, so that I can help myself, I can produce, I can move on to this.
Of course, just quickly ask to interrupt you there, but when we look at the school feeding program which you just talked about and enumerated how it impacts the economy, is this sustainable? It's one question that a lot of people ask, because we've seen states start. We saw Osun State start at some point and stopped. Perhaps they resumed now with the help of the federal government. We saw Kaduna State at some point start as well and couldn't sustain the program. How do we know that the federal government is not going to stop at some point and then create a total stoppage for all of these things that have been started?
Okay, I think that's a very relevant question. Let me start by saying sustainability starts with commitment. If you're committed to doing something, if you believe in doing something, you will sustain it. In other words, if the impact is felt across the board in the benefits that it gives to society, it is society itself that will sustain those programs. I know I shouldn't give too many examples from foreign countries based on my previous experience, but let's look at India, for instance. Their homegrown school feeding program is driven by what they call corporate social responsibility. In other words, after the program has started, it's the corporates that use their CSR to keep those things going. So I think 2 to 3% of profits of companies which goes to CSR, which is specified, goes to support such programs. But ultimately, sustainability is about commitment of society to saying this is a good thing, this is something we want to maintain, this is something we want to sustain. And therefore, as you go forward in your budgeting priorities, you will say that there must be a component in everything we do that helps to push these programs forward.
So you're looking to see the corporates key into this program at some point?
I personally would hope so. For now, the idea is just that let's put the young people back to work. Let's feed our children well so that we can secure the future. Because when you feed children, they pay more attention in school. School enrollment increases. Let's give them Empower so that the despondency you feel as a graduate after spending 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years after graduating, you're removing the despondency. But not only are you removing the despondency, you're giving me a self-worth. I'm employable. And not only can I use this employment, I can use it to improve myself. And as I said, for me, one of the most heart-lifting things I saw about the Empower was when the young people who was sent out at Greek Empowerment said, I want a farm. I want to be able to also help myself. So, in other words, just allowing people to help themselves, to use the resources they make from the program to move forward itself is an empowerment.
I'm afraid we can't help ourselves any further because we're completely out of time on this one. We appreciate your coming in today, Dr. Adeyemi Dikpeolu, Economic Advisor to the President. And that's the show as well today. We thank you all for watching. We came to you live